This video is going to walk you through the level up multiplication if function HyperDoc. So the first tab is going to be teacher directions, and if you want to, you can delete this tab just by clicking on the down arrow and choosing delete. This lesson, even though I haven't taught it, I'm guessing it's going to take about 2 to 3 hours, but you can modify if you want to delete any of these tabs and make it a little bit shorter if it fits your schedule a little bit better. So let's begin with the Engage tab. So the first thing they do is type their name in the white box and hit enter. Okay, it is, I am working with if functions. So that just means that this box is attached to a code where it customizes the text in the next box that pops up. So it will give your students a little welcome and give you the directions for the next step, which would be to click on the image to go to Study Jams. So when you click on the image, it's going to bring the link in a pop-up, and the kids will click on the play video, and this is just a little introduction from Study Jams on repeated addition.
My little sister's surprise party is tomorrow.
Okay, so when they finish, they're going to come back to the spreadsheet, and it says go to the Explore tab. So they click on the Explore tab. Again, it has their name. It says click on the image to explore this interactive website that creates images of multiplication equations. Roll the dice to create new ones. So in the box, they're going to write a couple of sentences just explaining what they notice as the chart changes with each new equation. So when you click on it, again, it's going to pop up with the link to the website. And when you roll the dice, it changes the array, and so they can look at the different patterns in this array, and hopefully they notice that where the 8 meets the 4, that's where the answer is, so they can just roll the dice to show a new equation. And again, they're just observing what they see. Hopefully they notice patterns being established as you roll the dice, and new numbers create the new arrays. So when they're finished with that, they return, and they just double click inside and type in their observations and move on to level 1. So now we're getting into multiple activities on each tab, and I did number them because I do want them to go in a sequential order. So here it says, it's kind of referring back to the video on the Study Jams website talking about repeated addition. So it says click on the image below to practice repeated addition. So again, they click on it, it takes them to Snappy Math, where they can then just interact with this website and practice repeated addition. And hopefully they're making the connection between this and what a multiplication factor looks like. In step 2, they're going to write a repeated addition sentence for this array that they see with the cupcakes, and it's very important that they do not use spaces in between the numbers and symbols. So and order does matter, so I tried to make this the same number, so it's going to be 6 times 6, but if it's repeated addition, they're going to double click and they're going to say 6. They have to hit shift and then the plus sign, 6, and they're going to repeat this, 6 times. Okay, so 6 times 6 is 36, and when you hit enter, it's going to, if they did the correct equation, it's going to say great job. If they did the incorrect equation, it's going to have them try it again, and then now they move on to number 3. So in this one, they're going to write the same equation as they did in this box, only this time they're going to use the multiplication symbol. In Google Sheets and Excel, the way that multiplication is represented is not by an X sign, but by an asterisk. And I want them to know that because eventually they're going to learn about formulas in spreadsheets, and I want them to make that connection now. So they just double click in the box, and they type 6, hit the asterisk, 6 equals 36. And again, there's no spaces in between the symbols or the numbers. They're going to hit enter, and if they get the correct answer, it's going to move them on to level 2. Okay, so in this, on this tab, they're going to explore arrays. So they're going to watch, click on here, and they're going to watch a video that is off of YouTube, and it just explains what arrays are. Then they're going to go to this website and actually create an array, and this kind of walks them through how to do that. They can pick their symbols. They can drag however many they want in singles or in 5s or in 10s or in 20s. And once they do, they're going to take a screenshot of the array that they made and paste it in here. And so I gave the kids a little visual hint about how to take a screenshot on a Chromebook. So it's Control-Shift and then that little icon, and it copies the screenshot, and then they can just paste it in this box below. So when they're finished, they write a multiplication equation that goes along with whatever array they created in this box over here. When they're done, they click on level 3. And now we're getting into area models, and area models and arrays are very similar. In the end, I kind of combined the two concepts, but here it's actually talking about the number of rows is the first factor, the number of columns is the second factor, and then the product is the area of the model in itself. So I wanted to utilize the features of Google Sheets to kind of help the students understand this concept. And they are going to create an array here just using the fill tool up in the corner. So let's say I wanted to do an array that looks like this. I'm going to go up to the fill tool, choose my color, and now I have an array. I need to write the equation that this picture represents in this box right here. So this one would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 6 times 7 equals, and then provide the answer. And again, we're using the asterisk. Now this one doesn't matter if they put spaces in between the numbers and symbols, because it's not attached to an if function. It doesn't have to be exact, because everyone's answer is going to be a little bit different. The next activity, they're going to click on the image again, and this is also going to take them to another website where they can practice creating and naming equations based on arrays. On level 4, we're looking at how to solve a multiplication equation using a number line. So again, we're going to be using the fill tool bucket icon up here at the top. After they watch this video about shows them exactly what it means to use the number line to help them skip count. So they have to answer this question: what is the product of 6 times 3 or 6 times 3? If it's an Excel spreadsheet or a Google spreadsheet, we're using the asterisk, but if they see it on a worksheet, of course it's going to be the multiplication symbol. So I want them to understand that both mean the same operation. So they could do this one of two ways. They can do 3 jumps of 6, or they can do 6 jumps of 3. So I'm just going to do, I'm going to count by 6, or I'm going to count by 3s, do 3 jumps of 6. So I'm going to change this to be one color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is giving me my second color. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My third color. And now whatever number I land on is going to be the answer to my equation. Okay, so my answer is 18. I'm going to hit enter. And if I typed in the wrong answer, of course, it would make me try again. So now I can go to the next level. On level 5, we're going to be skip counting to find the product of 7 times 3. So we are going to skip count by 3s 7 times. So in the box, we're going to start with 3, and we're separating these numbers by commas, not by spaces. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and 21. So we're going to hit enter, and we got the correct answer. So we're going to move on to number 2. We're going to the students are going to create their own equation less than 12 by 12 and use skip counting to find that answer. So they're going to come up with their own skip counting pattern in this box right here. And then they move on to apply when finished. So in the apply, we are kind of using all of these strategies together to solve these different types of problems. So for number 1, we're going to be using, and you'll notice that you have the number 1 with the equation, and then you have which strategy you're going to use over here in your workspace. So they're going to find the product of 9 times 2 by using the number line, and again they're using the fill color bucket icon up here at the top. The second one is going to be 7 times 7, and they're using the array or the area model. We're just going to kind of combine these because they're so similar. For the third equation, 4 times 8, we're going to be using repeated addition, so they write that sentence in the box. And then for the fourth equation, 6 times 3, they're going to be skip counting in this box here. So they're going to move on to the Share tab when finished. And in the Share tab, they're going to roll these dice. If you could just click on the picture, it's going to run a script and pop a random number in this first box. Click on the second dice. It'll run the script and pop in a number here. So now the 2 numbers that I have to work with are 9 times 7. They have, the first one represents groups. So in this box, they're going to type in the number 9. And then this number represents the number of items. So they're going to, I rolled a 7, so I'll type in a 7. And they have to type in a word problem in this box to match the equation. But they're not going to answer it. Make sure you tell them not to answer it, because they're going to pick a partner and click on the share icon and share it with someone in their class. So they'll trade spreadsheets. And the person that they're trading with, they're going to have to write the name of their partner in this box. That way you know which 2 kids are working together. So those kids are then going to open each other's spreadsheets, and they're going to go to this tab. Make sure you tell them not to mess with any of the prior tabs, because that is somebody else's work. They are only working and collaborating on the Share tab. They're going to answer the word problem in the box when finished, and then they're going to go back to their original spreadsheet. So they're only in a partner spreadsheet during the share part of this HyperDoc. When they go to reflect, I wanted to make sure that they are continuing in their own spreadsheet. They have to make sure that they're not in their partner spreadsheet that they were in for this part of the activity. You want to make sure that they're now in their own spreadsheet. And it says on the last tab, you answered your partner's multiplication word problem. Which of the 5 strategies did you use to find the product? Explain why you chose that strategy and how it helped you. So basically they're reflecting on their own thinking. Hopefully they used one of the strategies that they learned in levels 1 through 5, and they're typing about it in this box. In the Evaluate tab, these are just kind of SAR formatted questions that meet this TEAC. So you have the question in the blue boxes, and the answers are going to be a drop-down menu. So they have to choose A, B, C, or D. Now they can choose whatever answer, but it's not going to indicate whether or not they got the answer right or wrong. This is not a place for them to self-correct. It's actually for you just to kind of check for understanding. So they're going to go through the next question, 3, 4, 5. So there's 5 questions total on this final Evaluate tab. So I have not taught this lesson with students yet. I just finished creating it, so I'm really curious as to how this works with your kids. So hopefully you all have learned a little bit more about what a spreadsheet can do for you. In a future blog post, I will explain and demonstrate how I made these drop-down menus for them to choose from, and how I did the coding for, which one was it? Yeah, in the share, I'll show you how I did the coding for the dice, so that when you roll a dice, it generates a random number. So there's a lot of really cool features within Google Spreadsheets that make a HyperDoc a little bit more exciting. It's more of an adventure, and I really love the fact that it kind of talks to them. It says their name and guides them through each of these steps. So hopefully your kids will enjoy it.